So this is Ireland, and this is my trip to Ireland, featuring the Lou family and Julie's friend Shannon. So we're going to be leaving from Philadelphia, headed to JFK, and from JFK we're taking a British Airways flight to Ireland. So quick story about how amazing British Airways is. I was at JFK Airport. I was looking for a beer. They sent me to a lounge. I had 20 minutes before we had to board. I go to the lounge is closed. I go back to the board. I look real sad. They're like, hey, did you find your beer? I'm like, no, unfortunately, they were closed. When I got on the flight, an attendant who must have heard from the person at the gate that I was real sad about not having beer was like, hey, what kind of beer would you like? We got plenty. And so they hooked me up with a bunch of beer. A bunch of complimentary beer, I should add. So I got real shitty on that flight. Shout out British Airways. So you can see flying in, there was a rainbow. I thought that was beautiful. Little did I know I'd see a ton of rainbows in our trip. First thing I saw in the airport was this really cute dog. It's a drug sniffing dog, but he's way cuter than any dog I've seen sniffing for drugs in the States. Here we have Julie reunited with her old college friend Shannon. Boy, they cried a lot. They were super happy to see each other. Tears of joy. First stop was a church. You're going to see a lot of churches in this slideshow. This was a little tree. Put notes down of loved ones you'd lost. I put a note down of a loved one I'd lost. Look at this creepy dude. This was in the Adair Town Center, some educational center. I don't know what these guys were doing. Here is our first dinner in Adair. Probably the best I've looked. I'm wearing a tie. You can't see because it's real dark. But there we are with the Lou family, Mr. and Mrs. Lou. There's my meal. It's made with a bunch of different meats. Anytime you ordered meat in Ireland, they were very proud of the fact that it was from local farmers. So, like, this meat came from farmer across the street. There's Julie shocked at this fact I'm giving you. Boy, fast forward to the next day. Here we are at Foda Wildlife Park. Those are some meerkats doing their meerkat thing. I just found it fascinating how big the exhibit spaces were. For instance, here's a picture of an exhibit, and I have no idea what's in that exhibit because it's so big. Oh wait, no, maybe there is an animal right on the other side of that log. Anyway, next picture. This is Mr. and Mrs. Lou. They're in wheelchairs, not because they're wheelchair bound, but because they didn't want to walk through this entire wildlife center. The place was huge, so Julie and I pushed around her parents on those wheelchairs through the whole wildlife center, and I think they really loved it. They were living the dream. And just like a kid at any zoo I've worked at, I'm more fascinated with this wild bird than the actual animals in the exhibit. Thumbs up, wild bird. There is a tiger that you can kind of see through the fencing. Here are some lion-tailed macaques, looking very pensive. Fun fact about macaques is they are quadrupedal. They don't get on the ground very much, but when they do, they are on all fours. They're also good swimmers and also deep thinkers. Staple of any zoo is having some peacock fowl just running around. So here we have an Indian oak leaf butterfly. I had to do a quick Google search because I forgot what it was. There it is. So they were pretty rad. There we have an iguana chilling. Here we have a frog on the back of a leaf. Just a cute little tree frog getting some rest. Next up we have pelicans. I had no idea how big pelicans were until this moment. I was slightly worried about getting this close. There you see me doing my pelican squat. Looking like a pelican. Up next, you're gonna see some kangaroos in the background. They were also running free. And then here you have probably my most iconic Ireland shot. It's one of the few pictures I shared to Facebook when I got back, and boy, wind blowing my vest, got pelicans in the background, Irish sun shining through. There's Julie face to face with some pelicans. There's her parents with a kangaroo in between them and the wheelchairs. Another cute picture with kangaroos in the background. Just things you never think when you think Ireland, such as penguins with that beautiful Irish grass. Kangaroos just hopping away. See you later. White-faced saki monkeys, which I now work with. So at this point, I was not familiar with white-faced saki monkeys. I forget what those things were, but they're gone now. There's an ostrich, there's a giraffe, with a guy with a pole. I'm not sure if that was a training stick, target stick, or if he was just using that stick to poke him away. There's an ostrich living with some Grant's zebras. Looking up in that tree in the top left-hand corner is a red panda. I thought that was pretty cool. They just had a huge tree in there, let the red pandas climb as they do. There he is still in the top left corner. And here we have a tapir, dragging that stick, which again I thought was real cute. He was pulling that stick up the hill. This is a botanical garden, I believe. I didn't get any pictures of that. So fast forward to the night. Dark statue. Another church. Here's a tribute to Jack Doyle, boxer. I've got some Maryland cookies. Shout out Maryland. I bought those, took them back home, gave them to my roommates. Here's a street. This is a dude giving a virtual tour of a castle. So that was the future, you know? Here's a artsy picture, I thought, with Mr. Lou in the background of a wall. Now we're inside the castle walls. There's Julie with the background. Ireland, what's up? I don't know what this pose is, but there it is. This is from the top of the castle, I believe. I kind of split away from Julie and her family and Shannon at this point. So you can see a lot of pictures of them below as I'm hiking on top of the castle. So again, this is all on top of a castle. I wish I could name the castle, but I can't at the moment. I could research it and come back and edit this, but I don't think I will. But there's Julie again off in the distance, kind of doing my own thing, exploring the castle. And then Mr. Lou got arrested. And they were like, hey man, we'll let you go, but you got a narc on someone. He was like, yo, Mrs. Lou is just as guilty. They were eventually freed. Happy ending there. Hey, salute, Ireland. I see you. Just again, more castle rooftop pictures. This is a real pretty view, I thought. Oh hey, looking down. Again, I'd bump into my group. There's Ian. It just means John. This is some of the coolest art I saw, and I think I did add this on my Instagram. Because, boy, check that out. It's fucking rad. Dude's missing his eye, his eyeballs in the ice cream. And what do you know? We're back in the church. There's just a ton of churches. Religion's huge in Ireland. I guess it's huge all over the world. This must be a Catholic church, because check it out. There I am, a rare selfie. I'm sipping on a Guinness. So before this trip, I didn't care for Guinness at all. But after the trip, now when I order a Guinness, I get that taste of Ireland. I'm like, yeah, there it is. I feel like I'm back in a pub. And I think it's important to note that the way you pour a Guinness affects the taste. There's actually a bunch of YouTube videos that say like, hey, this is how you pour a Guinness. So shout out to any American bartenders who pour a Guinness correctly. Salute to you. Check out these fucking eggs, man. The eggs had pictures of the farmers from where the eggs came from. Like, oh, these eggs came from McDoyle's farm across the street. Love that shit. Here we are at a small pub in Adair. This night was lit AF, fam. I don't even know if I was using lit at this time, but let me just say that this pub was like the pub that you hear about in movies and books where after 1 a.m. they lock the doors and turn off the lights, and everybody who's in there is in there, and they're just all singing and having a good time. And they're asking me where I'm from, and this is right before the election of the Clinton-Trump election. And so Ireland was very interested in like how I felt about it and who I thought was going to be president. And I think I even freestyle sang a song about Hillary Clinton. And I do in fact have a video of me singing terribly a Sublime What I Got in an Irish traditional singing fashion. Super embarrassing, but if you stuck around for 9 minutes of this video, you're really hitting the jackpot with this song. So here we go. Shoes on my feet. I've got to find a reason things went wrong. I've got to find a reason why my money's all gone. Oh, I got a Dalmatian, and I can still get high, and I can play that guitar like a motherfucking ride. Cause you might get run over, you might get shot. Never saw the static, I just get it off my chest. I never had to battle with my bulletproof vest. Take a small example, take a tip from me. Take all of your money, give it up to charity. Life is too short, so love the one you got. Cause you might get run over, you might get shot. So, there that was. Boy, those guys were buying me Guinnesses all night. There was only 6 of us in that bar. One of them was the owner. Man, that was hilarious to hear for the first time in years. So here we have some pictures in Dublin, I believe. So the only reason we went to Dublin was because there was a disc golf course that I wanted to play, which was south of Dublin. So there was actually a debate about this whole Ireland trip, because I was like, look, if I'm going to Ireland, I'm gonna play disc golf. So we did. This picture is in a museum. It's the only picture I have in the museum because my flash was on. Immediately, I got in trouble. I was told to put away my phone. Get out of there. So this was our night in Dublin. We bar hopped to maybe 4 different bars. Every bar you went in, there was live traditional music playing. Very rad local music atmosphere. I think that's a dark picture of some people playing instruments. This picture says that the bar welcomes the All Blacks supporters. All Blacks was the New Zealand national rugby team who had a big match going on. There's some art, some bush hair coming out. This is one of those double-decker buses that I'd always wanted to ride in. So there I was on the top of one. Next day, some family shots by the water. Old bunny ears, got 'em, Julie. They never knew. Never saw it coming. This is them celebrating walking. And here I am behind the wheel of our rental car. Steering wheel on the right side. You drove on the left. It's very odd. It was stick shift. Drove across the whole country. And here we are driving from Dublin to the disc golf course, which ended up being one of the more beautiful scenic travels. I also brought my longboard along. And this was the only time I got to ride the longboard, was down this long road. I think Julie had the car in neutral behind me because she didn't know how to drive stick. And I just cruised down that road on the longboard. Some beautiful farm footage. There's Creek. We are now at the disc golf course. So there it is. Kippur Estates, 9-hole disc golf course. There's hole 1, which I almost aced. That would have been a nice way. This Braveheart picture made it into the slideshow because Braveheart was filmed on this estate. So a lot of the battle sequences were filmed here. So I thought that was cool. The disc golf course itself was just kind of back and forth field shots, not much objects. But there was an interesting fact that there were sheep that roamed around the baskets. So a lot of the baskets actually had their wool stuck underneath it. And yeah, you can see there on the side of the basket that was their wool caught on it. There's some sheep in the background grazing. There's a basket. The sun's too bright. Let me try again. There it is. So that was kind of a cool shot. I love the greens. The greens all look beautiful. Another beautiful scenic disc golf shot. You can see the wool on the bottom of that basket as well. The wool's pink because the farmers would spray their sheep so that if they got lost, they'd know what spray painted sheep were theirs. Some action shots. I'm sure that was a terrific backhand. Got some sun creeping in behind a basket. Some more beautiful disc golf shots. There I am, looking like I'm thinking about something. This disc I found in Philadelphia, and then brought it to Ireland to send the dude the picture and be like, "Hey, I found your disc. I'm in Ireland with it. Hey, Julie, get an action shot of me with the sheep in the background." There I am getting a real action shot of her. Another beautiful picture here. Sunset. Yeah, I guess sun was setting. Um, there's sheep in the background. I mean, pretty cool. Again, not the best course, but well worth the travel. Sometimes it's not about the destination, it's about the trip. And there's lost sheep, and he doesn't have spray paint, so I don't know what farm he belongs to. Nice fog over the water here. This was a weird gift shop that just happened to have a skeleton of a bear, I think. This was a weird memorial site. It was underneath a graveyard, maybe. And there was a well. There it is. And that's going to lead us directly to the Cliffs of Moher. Very Wi-Fi friendly area. So I don't even think I had Wi-Fi capabilities on my phone at this point. But I thought that picture was funny. So yeah, you're going to see a lot of beautiful images of the cliffs here. There's that, the castle-like structure off in the distance. Beautiful clouds. Just a real beautiful day. There's a guy on an accordion collecting euros for his talent. Again, just some cliff pictures. We're winding down here. If you've stuck with me through 16 minutes of video, there's Julie on her phone, which I was on my phone at the same time, so, can't hate. There's a rock. Hey, it's a selfie. There I was. Shout out to my stepsister Melissa for making that hat. Shout out. Some more cliffs. There's a rock that I gave to my stepmother Carol. I was like, hey, here's a rock straight from the cliffs of Moher, Ireland. I hope you still got that rock, Carol. There's Julie getting close to an edge. Uncomfortably close. I don't do heights like this, so I'm just going to stay back, take some pics of you dangling your feet off that edge. And a second, whoa, be careful now. No hands. That's about as close as I got to the edge. Got my hang 10 hand out, and look at that drop. That is why I didn't get close to that edge. I mean, that's one of those movie drops where you just see the body flat on the bottom. There I am pretending to pee off the edge. I thought that would be a cool picture. Like, hey, let me look like an American taking a piss off this cliffs of Moher. So yeah, I got that. Yeah, some more cliff pics. Looking good. There's a surfer. Hang 10, brah. See, I was throwing up appropriate gang signs. There's that same bird from the photo. Just kidding. That was a lead-in though to the Burren Birds of Prey Center. So hey, we ended up at this Birds of Prey Center, which just happened to be pretty close to the cliffs. All these guys did free flight training, so we ended up seeing a pretty cool demonstration. There's a demo of an owl being like, "No, I'm not looking at you. Okay, I'll look at you." Owls are red. Looks like another owl. I'm not sure what species that one was, but here, look at that freaking wingspan on this. What is this, snowy owl? Boy, I hope so. Because I work with a snowy owl. I'd be pretty upset if it wasn't. Oh man, that's a shot there. Look how big those wings look compared to Mrs. Lou. This vulture, they threw out some meat before the vulture came out. And they were like, check it out, man. He is gonna like come over to this meat so quick you won't believe it. And sure enough, he did. They talked about how they have that like infrared meat vision. So yeah, he's pretty cool. Enjoyed this. This guy with his little falcon had some. I think it was a mouse tied to the end of a string in a ball, and he was twisting it around his head. And the bird would swoop down and get the rat. Pretty impressive stuff. There I am. This trainer, you can see he's looking longingly into my eyes. It actually got a little uncomfortable. There I am feeling uncomfortable because I was like, I think we're having a moment. I mean, he was really into me. I didn't get his number. Maybe next time. There he is looking real goofy, though. If you thought he was a stud, zoom in on that pic because he was looking pretty goofy. And there it is. But yeah, excellent trainer. Excellent training program they have there. So big shout out. We're going to go through some birds real quick. I'm not going to identify them for you because I'm off the clock. It's my day off. So you can just, oh, damn it. I guess I'm identifying that white-tailed sea eagle. They were extinct in Ireland, but Ireland worked real hard to bring them back. with the help of zoos and wildlife centers like this, breeding and then reintroducing into the wild. So this is going to be our last night in Ireland, and we are in Galway. This was the same year, I think, that Ed Sheeran dropped the Galway Girl song. So, boy, we were living it up. There I am. Cheers. Thanks for the blurry picture, stranger, with my phone. Guess I put that in one more time as I drink this perfectly poured Guinness. And there's a painting of the bar that I was just in front of. And there's Julie wiping down our car because she thought you had to turn in rental cars clean. Another tear-filled trip to the airport as Julie and Shannon say goodbye. There's a statue of dudes trying to touch that guy's junk, but he's jumping out of the way. There's a urinal where there's no privacy, so everybody can see your Johnson. And this is the final goodbye in the airport. Lots of crying and love yous and misses yous. And then one funny story about this airport trip here is that Mrs. Lou had a knife from our villa that we were staying in her purse. So customs looks over and she doesn't speak the best English, and they're like, "Well, what's going on with this knife?" And she's like, "I don't know what to tell you." So that was funny. They ended up having to throw away that knife. So that's it. That was our trip to Ireland. Big shout out to the Lou family for letting me tag along, and Shannon for being our liaison. And I had a great time going down memory lane and sharing these with you. If you watch this, don't be a creeper and watch it without saying something. Be like, "Hey, Ian, great video. Thanks for taking me on that tour to Ireland. Peace out. Love you guys.